Thank you. Hello everyone, I'm Shaheed Rucker. Join me as we collage at the African American Museum of Philadelphia and celebrate Kwanzaa and Kuumba, which is creativity. Pull up a chair. I'm excited to share the work with you guys, and grab your materials and maybe we can collage together. So a little bit about myself. I'm a graphic artist and a brand strategist. And behind me is my Jet Reimagined Recovering the Iconic collection. Some of my favorite Philadelphians are the subjects. Artists like, rest in peace, Frankie Beverly, Patti LaBelle, the iconic DJ Jazzy Jeff, and Black Thought, who I think is one of the best lyricists. And much of the inspiration for this body of work was kind of showcasing some of the unsung heroes of Philadelphia. Because you could have seen Will Smith or Kevin Hart, but we wanted to kind of highlight those that don't get enough credit and with influence in popular culture. So I'm excited for you guys to join me today. It's been a long journey. I wasn't always a graphic artist. I was a graphic designer. I made flyers for party promoters. And working with Photoshop, I kind of grew my skill, and that kind of transformed into a passion for art. So as you see behind me, I kind of developed my creativity, and so you never know what tomorrow brings. I never envisioned myself being an artist, and now I'm here. So today I'll be making a mixed media collage. A lot of the materials I sourced on my way here, actually. A lot of recycled print material. Again, we're just using the materials that we have, so I thought it was important to recycle. I'm big on recycling. It's important for me, especially living in the city of Philadelphia. You can find a lot of trash everywhere, so it was important for me to use materials that's already printed. So kind of going green today. So my subject today is Pearl Bailey. She was a Philadelphia native. She's an actress, a singer, and an activist. So I'm excited to use her, and I'm excited to share what I'm going to put together for you guys. So I'm using my X-Acto knife. Also, I'm using the recycled paper from the X-Acto knife. I just purchased this X-Acto knife, so we're gonna use some of the paper to collage and piece together this piece. And it doesn't have to be perfect, nothing's perfect. I think sometimes we think works of art have to be perfect. It doesn't. Because none of us are perfect. Let's see. Again, if you don't have an X-Acto knife around you, you can use some scissors. Or you can tear it up. It's all subjective. As long as you're happy with the end product. I never got into art to please anyone. I just kind of wanted to express myself and do the things that I like. The things that make me feel good. I never did this to, get any credibility or acceptance from anyone. So I just started out doing something that I enjoyed, a hobby, and now I'm here, collaging with you guys at the African American Museum. I started out as a graphic designer, designing flyers for local promoters. I also curated events myself, and I realized that a lot of the graphic artists that I would go to get my flyers made always used naked girls, and that wasn't a market I was trying to target. So I told myself I had to learn how to make my own flyers and redefine beauty, right? And not sell naked women on the flyers. So what I did was I learned Photoshop. It's a slow process, it wasn't overnight. And I started to use fashion forward images opposed to vixens. And then from there, as you mature and gain other interests and travel and visit museums, things like that, your interests grow. And my interest grew to graphic art and mixed media collage. One of my subjects today is Pearl Bailey, and I am pretty much cutting out a headshot of Pearl Bailey. This is a pre-print. I already printed this material. I kind of, curated this image specifically. So I printed it, and now I'm just cutting around her face, to use only her head. Because what we'll be doing is using the other materials that we sourced on our journey here and the things we collected off the ground or a little bit of trash. We're going to use that as the background. So Pearl Bailey is our foreground, and the other print material that we use, the packaging from the X-Acto knife, is our background. We want to give it like a worn look, a vintage look. So we tore up some papers. We just made it unique and different. So just go X-Acto knife around her head. And again, it doesn't have to be perfect. My influences in collage art is just not being a perfect artist, to be honest with you. These are ways that, my style is a little more unique based on, again, using the materials that I have. I'm self-taught, I'm not trained, I'm not a trained artist. So I kind of do what works for me. And I love the storytelling behind using, materials that's sourced from everywhere. There are other collage artists that I like. So yeah, one of my inspirations is Romare Bearden. I remember going on a class trip to Washington, D.C., and I encountered his work. It was very unique. I felt like it was something that I could do, and it also told a story, and you spoke to me, and here I am, and I never thought I'd be here, but you never know what your childhood would do to you, I think that moment really inspired the work that I do now. Again, I'm excited to be here at the African American Museum. A friend of mine, he is the curator, my guy Mike Wilson, and I've known him for a few years. I met Mike at the Bloxham Museum, where I helped curate their hip hop exhibition. Kind of sourced some magazines and a lot of cool material for their hip hop exhibition. And Mike was there studying to get his PhD, and he was familiar with my Jet Reimagined work. And he himself is an artist, great artist actually. And I actually ran into Mike not too long ago, and he was telling me about all the exciting things that he has going on and his work at the African American Museum, how he's a part of a great team that's, helping to transform the museum. So he was excited about the potential of me exhibiting my work there. And here I am. And I appreciate Mike and all the work that he's doing. And he's also an inspiration to me. I sit here today as an artist that is still fine-tuning his craft. I'm not someone who, it's not the end of my book. I'm still learning how to perfect this thing. So, sometimes I find myself using anything available to kind of be creative. And I would encourage anyone that's looking to exercise their creativity or, they just want to be creative to use the things around them. Got to be resourceful. I'm a person that I don't come from a lot, but I made the most out of what I have, and that's my style of artwork as well. See something, I say, all right, I have to turn this into this, but whatever's handy. Again, I'm just X-Acto knife and Pearl Bailey. Yeah, you got to be careful with the X-Acto knife, though. I use a straight blade X-Acto knife. I remember I was kind of reckless with this thing, and I dropped it on my big toe. True story. And I was bleeding everywhere. So, you want to be careful because these things are pretty sharp. And you also want to watch the surface that you're cutting on, because you don't want to cut up your mom's table or your wife's table or your husband's table. So you want to make sure that you have a surface that can, sustain the cutting of the X-Acto knife. And you can find these things anywhere. Local hardware store, your art supply store. But yeah, I use the X-Acto knife. So what I like to do is I like to adhere my subject with a multi-purpose spray to adhere to the canvas. And this is like regular canvas here, but you can use cardboard paper. You can use old book pages. You can use almost anything to work as your canvas. And also to adhere it, you can use all types of glues, whatever works for you, because the multi-purpose spray can get a little messy, but it works well against the canvas. So again, you can find all types of materials that work for you. It's just based on how big the subject is. You will probably want to use the multi-purpose spray. If it's a smaller subject, you can use just a simple glue. So again, you can recycle materials in your house. You can use cardboard as your backdrop. Again, scissors for your subject. You don't have to be, your subject doesn't have to be pinpoint precise either. You can leave white border around it. That's I kind of like the white border. I think that the white border is your canvas in any situation. So that white border is actually a piece of the artwork. Just be on the lookout for anything you have around the house that you can use to really execute your vision. Yeah, you can rip some things up that you have laying around. I like this piece of paper because of the color and the font, the typeface on it. So I kind of want to use some of these letters here to rip it up. And I also like the texture. It's a heavy stock paper, so it gives it a little bulk. And when I tear it, it gives it a little character. Because you can X-Acto knife this, but then it's like, it's kind of boring for me, So I like to tear it and get those edges a little worn. So I like to use these uses my backdrop. So right now I'm kind of just laying the foundation to see how it looks. I'm not going to adhere anything at this moment. I kind of want to see what I have. And again, it's you know, it's not premeditated. You know, sometimes art is just, you know, instinct, you know, it's just instinct. So right now I'm just using my instincts to see how it lay out, see what we have. And you can move it around. You don't have to be married to any look. I think that's the joy in collaging as well. For me, again, I'm not a trained artist. I'm not perfect, so I would hate to go wasting canvases by painting or, you know, wasting material. So I think this gives me the option to see what I have first, see what's in front of me, and then make decisions based on how I feel about it. So think like wheat paste, like your poster art out in the city. Somebody's advertising a movie, or, you know, that's kind of like the feel. A worn wheat paste, it's torn off the wall. That's like the vibe that I'm going for right now. Again, I did pre-print some things. Some of these things are premeditated. Like here, this Apollo ticket. This is black and white originally. I changed it to blue on a computer. So we'll cut around this. Now again, this doesn't have to be perfect. I can rip it, but I want to kind of give it a little more control. And again, you don't want to do what I just did. I just try to cut over pearl belly, so you want to kind of use a backdrop so you won't ruin your mom's sofa, your mom's china table or dining table. So I want a little more control on this one, just because this is a little more calculated than the other pieces that we have. So again, as we get excited for Kwanzaa and Kuumba, which is creativity, you guys gotta realize that, again, creativity is subjective, and do what makes you feel good. I know for me, collaging is one of those things that make me feel empowered. You know, I feel like I'm in control. So I'm always inspired by other people's work and the work that I do. You know, it always feels good when you look up and say, wow, I did that. So, you know, creativity can have a profound effect on our esteem. So I think it's important that you just create. You know, you never know what you'll come up with. As a creative, I don't like to work for other people, you know, but it is rewarding when your work is well received. It lets you know that, you know, the work you're doing can, you know, have an impact on others. I remember when I did my Jet Reimagined collection for the first time, and Jet called me. You know, I actually spent 2 years as their creative director, and that was a very rewarding feeling, because it showed me that, you know, all the work that I was putting in, you know, it was impactful to a big brand, an established brand like Jet. It's been around for years, so I kind of felt like that was a transformative moment in my, you know, artistic journey. Just you know, having that nod of respect from a brand that I was kind of looking to impact through a creative lens. And, you know, I spent 2 years at Jet as the creative director. You know, we used the artwork as the catalyst to engage a younger audience. And we also designed some capsule collections. I designed some capsule collections of merch to put in museums and kind of continue to establish their brand. So I made some jet-inspired merch with maybe the top 20 songs. It's just, just pages out of the Jet magazine. And, because it's memorabilia, they have a loyal core audience. So we wanted to find a way to kind of get people to support by creating tote bags, t-shirts, sweatshirts, hats, and put them in places that, Black people frequent that are Jet enthusiasts. And again, you never know where you end up. That work led me to working with the LeBron James Foundation, designing merch for his nonprofit, which encourages younger voter turnout. It's called More Than a Vote. So I was able to create t-shirts and branded merch for LeBron James, and this all started because I was making flyers for party promoters. So as long as you're kind of advancing in whatever space that you're in, the sky is the limit. I've designed restaurants in Atlanta with customized artwork. There's one restaurant called Apartment 4B that houses a Jet collection, specifically musicians, people like Outkast, TLC, Ludacris, a lot of Atlanta-based artists. And much of the reason that people go to that restaurant is because of the Jet Reimagined collection that you see behind me. So, I couldn't imagine being here today from where I started. I've worked with the Atlanta Braves and designing customized artwork for their gift shop and the Hank Aaron Foundation. I've worked with Stacey Abrams' campaign, pretty much creating customized merchandise to galvanize her core demographic of voters in Atlanta. So it's been a cool journey, You think it's a rewarding thing to see where you can end up. So we just cut out some lips. It's Pearl Bailey's lips. I changed the color just to give it a little pop. Just give it a different layer, because you want to break up the monotony of the black and white image. So we just gave it a little pop. Although we have a colorful background, we still wanted to give some texture to our lips, our face, and again, make it unique. I want to challenge our thought process and our creativity, and just keep adding layers to things and see how we like it. So again, I'm still just layering the material that I have. I'm just looking around the table for anything that may look good. It's like cooking, you want to do it with love. You don't want to rush it. You know what I mean? Put on a pot of rice, you don't want to rush no rice. You want to just take your time and, do it with love, and then the end result, should be pretty tasty. As I sit here with you guys today, my experience and my expertise is sitting on a computer and designing my work. I felt like it was important for me to challenge myself in front of you guys and do a mixed media collage. Again, something that I love. I could have done this on the computer, but I wanted to challenge myself and grow right in front of you guys, and kind of design this thing, and we can all see the final results together. So I think this is you guys are seeing in real time my journey because I haven't, always done this. Again, it's more comfortable for me to sit in front of the computer and smack things together, or take my time. Actually, I don't want to say smack things together, but it's always, more comfortable for me to sit on the computer, take my time. I can erase things on the computer, start all over from scratch. But I kind of wanted to challenge myself and grow as an artist in front of you guys and come up with a mixed media collage. And I'm actually loving how it's turning out. It was important that I embrace my Philly roots. And some people say I have an old soul because I do listen to a lot of older music, like the Coltrane and Billie Holidays. I'll tell you a cool story. Growing up in Germantown, I lived in an apartment called the Archway, which is near Haines Street. It's kind of right across the street from Transilli's Water Ice, which is a staple in the city. My neighbor, she ordered 5 CDs. We used to advertise the CDs, and it was, I remember it being James Brown, Marvin Gaye, The Temptations, Curtis Mayfield, Superfly, and I forget the 5th one. But anyway, she never got to them because I took the CDs into the house. It was exciting because I just found a 5-disc CD player in the trash, and I was like, I need a CD to figure out if this thing works or not. So that whole summer, I was playing The Temptations and Superfly by Curtis Mayfield. And since then, I have a love for the oldies. And that's why you see subjects like Pearl Bailey and Billie Holiday and John Coltrane. So that's just a little interesting story about, how I got into oldies and, growing up in Germantown. And you can never forget the sounds of Philadelphia. We have a rich history of music and arts. And I feel like I can be a vehicle to kind of keep that history alive through my visual art. It's important for me to weave popular culture and branding in the work that I do because that's just naturally where I come from. That was the development of my artistry. And so taking brands like Jet and Wheaties, I felt like was important to create that memorabilia for people who are familiar with these brands. And I think with Wheaties specifically, my time at the Negro Leagues, designing for the Negro Leagues, I felt like it was important to highlight figures who, again, are unsung, who don't get the just due, and put them on a popular brand. So you can kind of introduce people who may not be, familiar with Josh Gibson or Satchel Paige or, Hank Barber, but they're familiar with Wheaties. So you use Wheaties, I use Wheaties anyway, as the foot in the door to introduce people to these icons who, didn't see the fruits until, they never seen the fruits. So, now, people are finally coming around, institutions are finally coming around to pay homage to these figures. Because again, one thing I learned, once upon a time, the Negro Leagues was one of the, biggest brands. It generated a lot of revenue for small businesses, small black businesses, like a hot dog stand or, the Chitlin Circuit performance venues, because, they bought so many people out, and it was a place where we socialized and embraced each other. So I think it's important to find ways to introduce people that have never engaged with the Negro Leagues through popular brands and popular culture. So looks like we have our layout. I actually bought the receipt from the coffee I drank this morning in here. I felt like this would be a good touch to it. But yeah, I'm kind of happy with this layout. So we X-Acto knifed our subject, tore some of our background, and we threw a couple more pieces into the fold. So we're kind of happy with this. Now, and we have this laid out on our canvas. This is our backdrop canvas. You can find this at any art supply store. Again, like I said, you can also use cardboard, you can use wood, you use any background to kind of establish your collage. So now we'll start to adhere it to the canvas with our spray adhesive and kind of round out our final final piece. So I'm gonna start to use my spray adhesive to adhere our background to the canvas. You kind of want to be careful with this. This is one of our biggest backdrops. I'm gonna kind of lay this down as the foundation and kind of weave in the smaller pieces after that. Again, I get excited, with the reusing certain material, kind of deconstructing old material and repurposing it. I think that is one thing that's important, again, for me, is reusing old material. And giving it a new identity. It's important for us too, We don't always have to stay the same, right? We can kind of rebrand ourselves and especially as you get influenced by other things. Kind of move forward and shed that old skin. Kind of recenter your foundation, That's what I did. Just continue to grow as a person and as an artist. You want to kind of be careful with this stuff again because it can get a little messy. So you want to have a little control over it where you spray. And I'm kind of eyeballing it. Then what you want to do is always put your subject or your foreground back over it to make sure it's laying the way that you wanted it to. Yeah. I like this torn. I like to put the torn parts on the outside. A little more character. When you're using clear backgrounds, it helps you with the spray because it kind of blends in with the canvas. But if you're using a color background, it might cause a little trouble. Want to make sure that glue is all the way in there. We'll use our Dunkin' Donuts receipt. So we'll slide the receipt, let's say. I went through it upside down so you can see more of the price and the change. I'm gonna reverse this because there's more tier on this side. I grew up an athlete, so to be considered an artist, sometimes I have insecurity about it. I'm gonna just be transparent. So, you may never feel like you arrived at being an artist, because the route that I took, was just organic. I wasn't, again, traditionally trained. So, you may never feel like you arrive, and that's okay. You just want to continue to put in the work and just be, just create. Because anyone can do this. So we like how that's going. So what I'm gonna do is adhere the lips, and the lips doesn't have to go on perfect. I think the more that it's off-centered, the more character it gives the subject. So if I was to center it, it'd look like this, but I kind of want to put it on the So we can use more of our receipt that we got from Dunkin' or from our coffee shop. Let's recenter this so we can see the pearl belly a little bit. We'll use some more wear and tear. We'll use this side. So interesting, I can use either this side, which has more tear, or I can use this side, which shows the font a little more. I think I'm gonna go with the font. I like the way that looks. Again, it's, you can always change things as you're going. That's the cool part about collaging, is that you can change your mind. You don't have to marry, what you laid out the first time. Much of what we used, again, we kind of prepped some photocopies of some images, and we gave it a grain, and we gave it a deeper contrast. We made it a little brighter. Just pop the subject out a little bit against the colorful backdrop. So, and it's up to you. You can give it a more of a grain. You can colorize the image. It's totally up to you. So I kind of went on and did some research on the images I wanted to use and online, and then I kind of edit it. You can edit it on your phone, you can edit it on your laptop, just make the subject brighter, give it more contrast, pop the hair, the dark, features out, and this is all up to you. But I like the vintage black and white image. So we're gonna move this here, just to see how we like it. And we can really begin to lay our subject down. I feel like I want to add a couple more random pieces. I'll use this receipt. And try to figure out where I want to lay this. I like this pink sticker. Kind of gives a nice compliment to the pink lips. So we can add that, and then we'll add our, maybe we'll add it under here. Just so we won't hide too much of the pearl belly. Like that. Now when you got like a little piece left over like this, or it's raising off the canvas, you can just slide a little bit of, I like to slide the adhesive onto the canvas right where it's going to lay. But you want to be careful with it. All right, so I think it might be time to lay our subject down. Make sure there's a nice spray. Now again, this stuff could get messy. Things can start sticking, so you kind of want to be careful. Make sure we got this centered right. You gotta carefully press that down like that. Now they have tools where you can just kind of rub the glue across like that. You know, kind of. But I'm gonna use this, the adhesive can. Just improvise. You know, you gotta use the materials you got around. Probably got some other stuff I can use to kind of embellish this thing a little more. I like the way it's looking. I actually love the way it's looking, but let's see, I have some tape here. And then we have some spray paint. We have a blue and we have a yellow. I think the yellow would give it a nice pop. And what I'm gonna do is cut a piece of tape off. Add that here like that. And give it a nice spray paint. We want to cover our subject so we don't ruin her. And again, just, you know, feel free to get as creative as you want. You know. And I think we'll give it a little, just a little spray over here, nice and gently. And I'm gonna add another spray along here to center and balance the whole body of work. And then I'm gonna wrap around here. And I think I'm loving this right here. So we're gonna let that thing dry, and I think this might be the one. And again, once everything dry, you can always go back to it, add, and things like that. But I'm loving the way we're looking here with our mixed media collage. Maybe I'll add some blue. So I'm gonna cover our subject a little. Just give it a little. You can always use something to smear that in. Or actually, I like it like that. And we can put some blue here. For the sake of color, we added some more blue, and I think it kind of pulls everything together. So we'll wait for this to dry a little bit. And yeah, I'm excited about this piece here. You know, what we did here was we repurposed old paper that would have went to waste, and we used an old receipt. So I think that was the most, fulfilling part for me, was using the old objects that would have gone to waste. And yeah, really like how this came together. So out with the old and in with the new. You know, we just repurpose some old things, and sometimes we do that with ourselves. We can't be afraid of change and moving into the new year as accomplishing those goals, and recentering yourself and seeing who you want to become, and just growing in different ways. So I look at this piece as a metamorphosis and moving into the future and changing and blossoming into a better artist, a better person, a better friend, and that's how I like to exercise my creativity. So. Let me show you guys. Collaging with Shaheed in the African American Museum in Philadelphia. And if you enjoyed what we did today, make sure you join us tomorrow.